It's one of the greatest needs I think we have in Safetyville right now is to really modernize and update our curriculum and our tour and our exhibits. We are still teaching for the most part, the same lessons we taught 40 years ago. Again, very analog, stop, drop, and roll, stranger danger, those kind of things. But we know that technology is playing a large part in the safety concerns for children these days. And we'd like to modernize that curriculum and have those same hands-on experiential lessons for those technology concerns.
Hi, I'm Jeff Holden. Welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. Our purpose and passion is to highlight a nonprofit organization in each weekly episode, giving that organization an opportunity to tell their story in their words to better inform and educate the respective communities they serve, as well as provide one more tool for them to share their message to constituents and donors. Our goal is to help build stronger communities through shared voices and to both encourage and support the growth of local nonprofit organizations through podcasting. Thanks to our founding partners for their foresight in helping us transform the way conversations start. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations. Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSE, marketing, advertising, and public relations creating integrated communications committed to improving lives. And Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. Before the episode begins, I want to take a minute to share that we now have a website where you can sign up to get our weekly email updates on the latest episodes, transcripts to prior episodes, and see what else we have going on. Please be sure to register so you never miss an episode or any other important information we may have to share in the nonprofit space. You can find us now at nonprofpod.com. That's nonprofpod.com. Easy peasy. You'll also notice on the website a microphone in the lower right-hand corner. By clicking on it, you'll be able to leave me voicemail messages, maybe a question you'd like me to ask our guests, or just a comment on the program. I may even play your message in an upcoming episode. I look forward to more engagement with you as we continue to grow and better serve our nonprofit community. Thanks. If you've lived in Sacramento for any length of time, and you've had children over that period, you may be aware of a mini-city, including the capital and all, in Rancho Cordova. School classroom trips, various kids groups, and other organizations have all taken their kids to Safety Center's Safetyville. And if you haven't, it's worth a look. But the mini Sacramento is only the tip of the iceberg, as Safety Center is a multi-million-dollar organization competing with for-profit businesses teaching and training safety in a variety of disciplines and certifications. Their CEO, Darell Teat, may be transitioning out at the end of the year, but both the organization and the transfer of the position have been dealt with in an exemplary way, as you're about to hear. Darell is joined by Kelly Huffman, Chief Operations and Strategy Officer, and their discussion really demonstrates the process and the value Safety Center provides not only their clients, but our community as well. Darell Teat, Kelly Huffman, welcome to the Nonprofit Podcast Network.
Thank you for having us. I know I'm super pumped to be here. And Kelly, we were talking about it yesterday. We were like, we really have to get prepared for this podcast thing. So thank you for inviting us.
Well, so many people want to know what it is you do because they may only know a little bit of it.
Yep.
And I'm going to address that in just a second because I really want to compliment you guys. There's two of you here for a reason. And Darell, you're going to be transitioning out to another opportunity. But what a compliment to the organization and the structure to see that you've got somebody to support that role who is actually moving up into another role while the executive search is on for the CEO. So that's unique.
Thank you.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. I'll say this. The credit really does go to our board. It goes to our management team for being really thoughtful about what the future of Safety Center should look like. And the really intentional progression of leadership as something that's been put in place for the last couple of years, spearheaded by Kelly and the work that she's doing on the HR side.
Well, and the key word there, intentional.
Yep.
So many organizations just get going and get wrapped up in the cause and the mission and the stuff that they're doing, the day-to-day administration of whatever that purpose is that they're executing, that sometimes the other stuff just gets taken for granted. What's also really neat to see is this is part of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're actually practicing what you preach.
Yeah. Yep.
And I can't wait to get into this. This is going to be fun. So there's this organization around town, Safety Center.
Mm-hmm.
But many of us know, or at least many of us who have children, know the thing called Safetyville. But I don't know that we really know what that means in the relationship to Safety Center. And also, it's not like you just popped up yesterday. This is a mature organization.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to you sharing a little bit more on that. So tell us a little bit more about Safety Center.
So Safety Center is actually celebrating 90 years.
Isn't that amazing?
90 years
Who would have thought?
Of service to this company. And so Kelly and I are going to tag team this. I'll share a little overview about our programs, and then she's really going to dive into what most people know Safety Center for, which is the iconic Safetyville. So Safety Center has 4 divisions that we operate, all related to helping people remain safe in the world. So we have a DUI education platform. So for those that actually, unfortunately, are convicted of a DUI, the judge will sentence them to a program anywhere from 3 months to 30 months. They have to pay for this along with some other additional services in order to get their license back. We operate the DUI program in 3 counties, Sacramento County, Stanislaus County, and Yolo County. And since the pandemic, we've become one of the larger DUI programs in the state of California. We also have a motorcycle safety training program, which we operate at Bradshaw, our Bradshaw campus, and also right over at Mather Air Force Base, Mather Field. So we have 2 locations, absolutely awesome, passionate group of instructors, and we are the highest rated motorcycle safety training program in the state of California.
And I'm going to interject just a bit here.
Please.
This is that little known fact. I think we talked about it in our prior conversation. I was also one of those instructors when I first moved to town. It wasn't through Safety Center, but when I got here, I was one of the instructors and did a handful of courses because I had the time at the time. And for anybody that is looking to ride a motorcycle, it is a mandatory course to take.
Absolutely.
Because you will learn so many things, and it could save your life if you got out on the street and did something stupid.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are kindred spirits. I knew I liked you for a reason. So in addition to the DUI education platform and the motorcycle safety training division, we also have a workplace safety training division, which we operate throughout the state of California, as well as in Nevada. And so everything from forklift certifications to backhoe and excavator, all the mobile equipment, the IIPPs, injury, illness, and prevention programming, workplace violence, even confined space training. So we have subject matter experts throughout the state of California that have deep expertise in safety training, and we call them the team of Avengers, where we dispatch them to our clients throughout the state as well as in Nevada. And then I'm going to throw the alley-oop over to Kelly to talk about Safetyville.
Sure. Yeah, so Safetyville, as you mentioned, Jeff, it's what most people know us for, as if you've ever driven down Bradshaw Road heading towards Highway 50 or exited Highway 50 there, you see this miniature third scale town where we teach kids how to be safe. We're celebrating 40 years in Safetyville this year. So
it was relatively new. We got in town 38 years ago, and our oldest son, who was maybe 3 at the time, and 4 or 5, somewhere in there, that's the age we visited. So it was a really new operation.
Yeah. 40 years ago, our board at Safety Center thought, this is something innovative and new. We were one of the first little safety towns to get started, and very happy to be celebrating 40 years this year, still doing the same thing we did 40 years ago. We bring kids through on field trips, teach them how to cross the street safely, stranger danger, how to call 911, all of those safety lessons that we may take for granted that kids just know and learn in the classroom. They get to do it in Safetyville, practice it hands-on, experience it in a very memorable way visiting Safetyville.
Knowing it's over 40 years now, or crossing that 40-year threshold, have you seen in the implementation the digital technology changing some of the safety elements that you address?
Sure. It's one of the greatest needs I think we have in Safetyville right now is to really modernize and update our curriculum and our tour and our exhibits. We are still teaching for the most part, the same lessons we taught 40 years ago. Again, very analog, stop, drop, and roll, stranger danger, those kind of things. But we know that technology is playing a large part in the safety concerns for children these days. And we'd like to modernize that curriculum and have those same hands-on experiential lessons for those technology concerns.
And I'm going to imagine, Darrell, too, that you're seeing that over the transition of workplace safety, too, where this cell phone technology gets in the way of safe practices. You can't operate a forklift while you're, doing a text message. Like, you can't drive, but people still do it, right?
Absolutely. It's interesting what we see. The things that we would think would be no-brainers that you just don't do. We find that many of our clients when we do our discovery meetings, they're like, hey, make sure they're not watching YouTube while the machinery is going, or make sure they're not walking and texting on campus when they're around the machines. So the cell phone in everyone's hand at all times keeps us in business. I'll tell you that.
Right.
But it is something that we have had to start to address. And we 3-4 years ago never thought we would need to put that into our curriculum, but it's definitely something that we do have to do.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And we see so many people driving. Even today, with all the knowledge we have, don't do that. You can spot the car on the freeway that's doing 45 and in and out of its lane. And sure enough, they got a phone in their lap that they're texting.
Absolutely. Don't get me started on that.
Oh, I know. I stopped. I just stopped because we could go on for about 5 minutes just on that conversation.
Absolutely.
Your services span a wide variety of workplace issues, as you've addressed. What do you find, if there is one element that's most in demand? What would it be?
That's a very good question. And we thought long and hard on that. So in classic Safety Center fashion, we're going to give you 2 answers. You asked for one, but we'll give you 2 if it's okay.
Absolutely.
So I'll say the 2 areas in most demand right now. So we have about 4,000 people on our platform for our DUI education program.
Wow.
And that's across 3 counties. And what we found is that recidivism is starting to decline. There is a certain level of just repeat offenders. So the DUI education program is definitely in demand. And through the pandemic, many of the programs weren't able to adjust to a technological foundation in order to provide the services virtually. So many of them just went away. And so we see that there is a gap and a void in some of our counties throughout the state of California where we're strategically looking and investigating if it would be a right place for Safety Center to expand. So that's on the DUI education side where we know we can have a significant impact. The other side demand that is picking up is our workplace safety training platform. We were able to bring in a gentleman at the beginning of the year that ran a division for a global safety training company. And what he was able to bring to our company was, the ability to provide end-to-end solutions. So not only just the training, the tactical hands-on training, but also the programming and documentation that actually derives and dictates what the training is supposed to be. We're able to do that consultative work as well. And we see that is becoming in much more demand. So over the course of the last, I would say, 5 months, we're now working with customers on the end-to-end solution.
Mm-hmm. Are these classes or programs delivered virtually, in person, on site? How do you make them happen?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. However, about 90% of our training for workplace safety is done in person. The other is done remotely. We also, and on site at our client sites.
Client site, okay.
Client site as well. We do have classes at Bradshaw, whereas individual companies may send an individual in for a certain training, but we do our large group trainings on site throughout the state. Through our DUI education platform, those are predominantly in person. About 75% of those services are done in person as a mandate per the state of California.
Well, good. I think that I would prefer that if somebody's going to be educated, that they really understand it And it is in person because it's a more personal association relationship with somebody who's talking to you about what you need to do differently so that something tragic doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
And that's actually both ways. It's as much a tragedy if somebody does something stupid with a forklift, as it is if they do it with, a car.
Now, we have a saying in our tagline for workplace safety is we believe every employee deserves to go home safe every day.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Are these predominantly fee-for-service programs? So the employer, the company, the organization would hire you to do the program, and or the state or county would hire you to do the DUI program? Is that how that works?
Excellent question. And I'll volley this one. I'll throw the alley-oop over to Kelly.
Sure. Yeah. So for our workplace safety programs, Jeff, just as you described, companies will send their employees either to us for an open enrollment, seat in a program at our Bradshaw campus, or hire us to come out to their site and train their employees. For our DUI program, it is part of the court mandate for the client to take this course to pay the fees to the program that they're attending. So there are set fees that the state and counties approve for us to charge. We have to charge those, no more, no less, just like every other program in the county. So those are fee-for-service programs paid by the participant. Things like our Safetyville program, we do charge an admission fee that helps us keep the lights on.
Little lights.
Yeah, little lights, third scale lights with our miniature town. And then, of course, our motorcycle program is also fee-for-service paid for by the participants. So overwhelmingly, our revenues come from fee-for-service programs.
And who do you find most often is your customer? Is your biggest customer base state? Is it small business? Is it large business? Who is it?
All of the above.
It is. It definitely is all of the above. So for our safety training division, we actually have to win RFPs mostly with state agencies. So that's a lion's share of our portfolio. And then we call it, hand-to-hand combat in the marketplace against all the other safety training companies in, the world that compete in California. So we have to, really go with our business development team, go out and win the business and prove our value. Can you share a little bit more about the Safetyville and all the different ways that we bring people in through the various elements?
Yeah. So, kind of the foundation of Safetyville is those field trips where schools will send typically about second grade. Kindergarten through second grade is about the sweet spot for field trips. So we work with our school districts and the local schools in our community to make sure they know we're still here 40 years later doing field trips, and they should get us on the calendar. In addition to that, we have mostly local private business who can sponsor buildings in Safetyville. Again, helping us keep those lights on. So that's a variety of small businesses who've been affiliated with Safetyville, some for almost 40 years. And,
right?
We have many buildings still available to be sponsored, looking for new people all the time.
And as you say that now, I'm remembering some of the sponsors, back in the day, and I don't know if they still are, so I won't say them, but I remember the buildings had the names on them. Yep. And if there was a particular shopping center or an electrical company or something like that, they were all there.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's so fun just remembering now, the kids going through it. In terms of the funding for the organization, you are not a small organization. You're a large nonprofit. Darrell, what's the overall budget roughly?
Overall budget roughly is about $9 million. We're continuing to scale that up year over year through the growth of our programs. And we anticipate that it will continue to grow as, leveraging the 40th anniversary of Safetyville and really reintroducing it back into the marketplace, because that's where the donation dollars and the funders are critically needed. Kelly is doing a phenomenal job with her team in order to reach out to the community, let them know that obviously we're still here. But oftentimes people think because we operate as a social enterprise, we have fee for service and the donation side of the business, like, oh, Safetyville, they're okay. They're fine. They've been subsidized for Safety Center for so long, but just like every other business, there's cash constraints. And Kelly and the team are doing a really good job with a push this year reintroducing Safetyville to the community.
Well, not to mention some things have changed over the 40 years. The cost of whatever was even 2 years ago, pre-pandemic, has changed dramatically. So that changes the dynamic. And you had that couple years, I'm sure, where it was closed. You couldn't have kids coming through.
Absolutely.
And now it's that reorientation. Hey, we're open. It's fun. It's a neat thing to see and do. On the funding element, we know fee for service is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
As you get into competitive situations, like you said, RFPs, are the majority of people that you compete with for-profit businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
So there aren't very many safety centers that are these nonprofit entities working to do the same thing.
No, not at all. The cool part about Safety Center is everything we do is mission driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that with the surplus that we have, we can keep things going like Safetyville to a certain extent. So everybody within a company understands that the more people that we train, the more we're able to continue to invest into the safety of the next generations, which is just a really cool vibe and environment. And I think that's why with Kelly's leadership on the culture development that we were just recognized as one of the region's best places to work.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Was
Thank
that the business journals?
Yep.
Oh, good for you guys. Yeah, I always look through that list. You can kind of see some of the organizations. It's like, I know that organization. Yes, they belong there. Yeah, very cool. Congratulations,
Thank
guys.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more from Darell, Teat, and Kelly Huffman of the Safety Center right after these messages from those who make this program possible. I was in the media business for over 35 years and had the great privilege of working with Runyon Saltzman, RSE, Marketing, Advertising, and Public Relations. We collaborated on many different campaigns, but their commitment to the nonprofit sector hasn't changed since their founder, Gene Runyon, started the agency. Over many years and many campaigns, Runyon Saltzman has been committed to improving lives by tackling California's most challenging issues. Guided by research-informed strategies and insightful, creative solutions, RSE develops innovative communications campaigns that raise awareness, educate, and reduce stigma in diverse communities throughout our state and beyond. To learn more about RSE, visit rs-e.com.
Hello, this is Scott Thomas with Cap Trust in our Sacramento office. I specialize in working with local nonprofits and associations. Annually, we survey private and public nonprofit organizations across the country to better understand challenges they see in today's environment. In our more recent survey, we heard concerns about proper board governance, mission-aligned investment, and how to implement alternative investments. If you would like a copy of the survey or to discuss your organization, look me up, Scott Thomas at captrust.com.
I'm thrilled to have Western Health Advantage partnering with us as they do so much to support so many nonprofit agencies in our community. As a truly local health plan, you'll find individual and family options, employer options, plans for CalPERS and Medicare Advantage. From medical services to pharmacy, health and wellness support, as well as behavioral health care, Western Health Advantage has a plan that fits what you need. As an employer, for profit or nonprofit business, individual or family, you can find more at westernhealth.com. Collaboration. You touched a little bit on it, and I can see where certainly with Safetyville, there's a lot of collaborative effort. Maybe let's start with that, Kelly, and talk about what it looks like and then get into the rest of the operation and how it maybe collaborates in the community. So
Sure.
who would it be that you work most with?
Yeah. So another part of the Safetyville program that we haven't really talked about yet is our grant funded, programs that we deliver out in the community. So we work with Office of Traffic Safety. We have been a partner of theirs for years now, delivering bicycle and pedestrian safety messaging. We go out into schools. Our Safetyville team, kind of our street team, gets out there. They go out to schools. They fit children for helmets, bicycle helmets, teach them how to make sure they're on correctly. We teach parents how to make sure helmets are fit and worn correctly and deliver those safety messages as a partner of OTS. We also have a couple other grant funders that help us do other programs in the teen space around safe driving decisions. As we know, teens sometimes don't remember all the safety lessons they've been taught or test those boundaries. So we have some.
Very kind. I was going to say, or choose not to.
Choose not to. Some mixture of all the above. Yeah. So we do have some teen programs to help teens continue to really build on that foundation of safety that we've started, at the younger age with the children in Safetyville. And those are some other grant funded programs. And we work usually with insurance companies. They have a vested interest in making sure teen drivers are safe. And then other partners in the community mostly would be our building sponsors there, often have an affiliation to some sort of safety or health message that we help deliver through our field trip curriculum or through the presentation at their building site within Safetyville. So we have like a dental office that has dental messages and other messages like that affiliated with the companies that sponsor buildings in Safetyville.
Do the sponsors ever align the tours for the children with maybe foster youth groups or?
Sure. Yeah, we have partnered with organizations in the past to bring foster youth through, as an example, to get their backpacks and back to school shoes, in the fall. Hosted kind of a private event for them where they have the entire village of Safetyville for those kids and families to come through in a safe space.
Oh, I can only imagine. I just was at an event yesterday where somebody was talking about their shoe program for their school, their local school, having no idea that it was such a big deal. Like 60% of the children in this particular school either had shoes that don't fit, that were so worn out. Wow. They actually have duct tape for the kids whose shoes flap. And I thought that's tragic.
Yeah.
We've got to do something about that. But I can see you get these kids, they come to Safetyville. Not only to get they get a pair of shoes, they get a backpack, and they get their little education amongst the buildings. What an experience.
Right.
Wow, what an experience to take and grow. And it's generational. I mean, 40 years now, you probably are into the third generation of families bringing their children
absolutely
through Safetyville.
Yeah, we love to see that. We are at that perfect spot where, as a 40-year-old Safetyville, we're seeing parents bringing back their kids and sometimes grandkids already coming through. So we're into the third generation of people coming through Safetyville. I've grown up in Sacramento. I'm a native Sacramentan, and I unfortunately never went to Safetyville on a field trip and was always pretty jealous about it. So I decided to come work here, I guess.
And Darrell, for the operational side on the equipment and motorcycles and DUI programs, who do you see yourself collaborating with more often?
It's mostly state agencies. So we have regulating entities. So the California Highway Patrol is a regulating entity for our motorcycle safety training program. California Department of Public Health is the regulating entity for our DUI education platform, as well as the counties that we work within. So they, come in, they audit us sometimes in the same week, surprise audits for each of our locations, but they are the regulating entities for our DUI education. And then we also partner really closely with Cal OSHA for our workplace safety training platform. And when we do our annual conference, they come in and speak. We have an official alliance partnership with them. So we provide a lot of their education on our platform through our website, do special events, and then they also use us as a referral source for when somebody may need training, or we use them as a referral source when there's questions that we really can't answer related to some of the requirements that Cal OSHA has.
Sure, that makes sense. I can see that. I mean, that's a big envelope that you have to stuff full with those agencies for compliance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And both sides, for the employer that you're working with as well as yourself, to make sure that what you're teaching and training and working with is appropriate.
Absolutely.
On the business side of that itself, let's say I'm a medium-sized business and I do have workplace issues. It's a warehouse and we have trucks coming in and out and all that sort of thing. How do I learn about you? How does one find out about Safety Center?
I'm going to throw Kelly that alley-oop to let her answer. I'll end up dominating the conversation. I love it. I could talk about Safety Center all day.
Oh, I like this back and forth. This is nice.
Yeah, well, our one-stop shop is our website, safetycenter.org, safetycenter.org. You can find all of our programs there. Workplace safety has a great contact me form. A lot of times, as you kind of alluded to, Jeff, companies don't know what they need.
Right.
They just know they need to have a safety program, or they know they need to do some training. And our business development team is really great at asking the right questions and really getting to learn about the company and help guide them to what services they need and how we can help them. So safetycenter.org is absolutely the best place to go. Contact us forms for each of our programs, and we'll reach out and we'll talk safety.
So if I'm a business and I've got this I know I've got a need because I've got compliance issues. OSHA came through and just slapped me with something because I didn't have hard hats on in an appropriate space, which I would think would be an easy mistake to make.
Mhm.
You get stuff stacked overhead,
Yep.
et cetera. Now I have to do something. So my typical process would probably be then is what I would assume you see then. I got to go online and find somebody to help me here
Yep.
because I have to do something. I'm sure that there's a requirement now that I have to perform. There's a certificate of some sort that I have to demonstrate.
Mhm.
Is that what it looks like?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. You hit it on it. Like you work in construction or manufacturing, like you know what you were talking about. That's actually the process. Oftentimes we'll get a call and it will be, I just had this fine or citation. I don't know how to rectify it. What do I do? And then the process ensues from there. We'll route them to the appropriate person. They go through the training, whether it be they send their employees to a safety center help course. We call it open enrollment at our Bradshaw location, or one of our locations that we partner with in Southern California, or we'll actually go out to their site and do the holistic training, and then they'll get their certificates after the training in order to prove that they had the training. And also if there's any sort of programming requirement related to the documentation, the policies and procedures, we also do that type of work as well, so they can demonstrate to Cal OSHA that they have a full program in place now.
Okay. So it's, in many cases, I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like a fix-it ticket. You do get the opportunity to repair whatever wrong you were doing
Yes,
before they really fine you.
absolutely. Oftentimes there's a course correction
Mhm.
period, and I don't know what, there's a variety of fines that come along with that.
Yeah, and then that doesn't do anybody any good. Not to mention it's not safe because you're not compliant. Money, no object. If funding wasn't an issue, if you didn't have to do the RFP at that most competitive bid, what would the organization look like? What would change if you really didn't have to worry about the budgeting for the greater good of safety?
That's a very good question. I'll volley it over to Kelly to start off, and I'll fill in.
Come back.
I'll
Sure.
fill her back.
Good.
I'll give you my vision. And particularly with workplace safety, I think we'd be everywhere. We are experts here in California. We do some business in Nevada. We train throughout the Western United States, and a lot of that is because it could be cost prohibitive for us to send our instructors across the nation and learn the ins and outs of that state's regulations. So I think we'd be able to really spread across the country and do what our instructors and our team in workplace safety love. And that's just talking safety with everyone and helping ensure everyone goes home safe every day. With Safetyville, we've said it many times over. I think every staff who've ever worked there has said, we want it to be like Disneyland. We know people have a very memorable experience when they come to Safetyville. We want to ensure that that can continue and we can dazzle them even more, because children definitely learn those lessons that are memorable. They stay with them, and we want to make sure we have a memorable experience and not one that's easy to be forgotten, one where they want to come back and learn more and bring their kids one day.
So the distinction, Kelly, really is Safetyville, while under Safety Center, still operates almost as its own entity. It's funded differently. It's either sponsor or donor oriented, whereas Safety Center, the operation for businesses in general, is really more a fee for service. Are there grants involved or any other opportunities that you get to raise funds?
We have not pursued that at all.
Okay, so it all is fee for service. Yep. Okay, well, that's a benefit.
Yeah, it is.
And not to mention having the .org at the back of the name too, to help you in the way you orient against some of the for-profit competitors, I'm sure.
Absolutely. We're the way that we're structured is really a true blessing, because we are able to use our for-profit business minds in order to do well and do good. And oftentimes nonprofits, as we know in this particular region, there's so many of us, and we are just praying and hoping that the funders come out of the woodworks through, whether it be Big Day of Giving, which is absolutely awesome, or some of our various initiatives, so that we can meet payroll, or that we can buy a new software system that's antiquated, or we can just hire a staff member part-time. And, the social enterprise model that's taken off over the course of the probably last 15 years has allowed for nonprofits and those that actually work from the for-profit sector to come really dive into an organization that has a deep social purpose mission, take all their skill set in order to say, you know what, I can do this as a business, that I can still help people. I do not have to get into price gouging. I can provide fair pricing. I can provide really good jobs for our staff members so that if they want to work at a nonprofit, they don't have to go without and say, oh, well, because I just chose to work with a nonprofit, I'm not going to be able to afford my family the opportunity to do X, Y, and Z because I am giving. And we look at the social purpose of social enterprise model as, let's scale this, as Kelly said, across the country, because we have best-in-class people who decided to lend their passion, their gifts, their talents, we call them superpowers, to help everyone go home safe every day. So when you talk about the vision, that question about the vision of Safety
Money,
Center,
no object.
right? No money, no object. It's exactly what Kelly said. We have two goals at Safety Center. One is to become the nation's premier provider of safety training and education. And that means we need to expand across the country. But then we also found that there are international organizations that look to Safety Center to provide them with best practices related to safety training within their workplaces. The other is to become recognized as one of the nation's best places to work. We were fortunate and blessed to be Sacramento Business Journal's, best place to work honoree. But if money, no object, we will be able to have the funds and resources to really invest in the professional development of our colleagues, to meet them where they're at and to scale them to that best version of themselves.
That's a great explanation. It's the first time I've heard anybody explain it, to grow the scale nationwide in best practices.
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you have employed right now?
We're at 185 employees today.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And are the majority of them instructors?
Yeah, a great deal of our employees, more than half, are instructors or on-call counselors for our DUI program. So we have a healthy bench of on-call staff that are ready to be deployed as we have training opportunities come up, or it's just to help maintain our DUI program. People occasionally take vacation or call out sick, and we have it's in the best interest of our clients to be able to make sure we don't have to cancel any classes or reschedule any appointments. So we have, like I said, about half of our employees are on that on-call bench ready to activate, and the rest are professionals that work in the office or in a hybrid capacity to keep the lights on and keep the programs running.
And now back to the business side of things, the reality side of the business, we do have a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as we are frustrated that we have to operate within it, what is the greatest need? And I think you addressed it a little bit with Safety Center, but let's go there again. I'm sorry, Safetyville.
Sure.
Let everybody know, what is the greatest need that you've got?
Yeah. So the greatest need in Safetyville is for philanthropic support to help us not just maintain the program, keep it running. We're doing that, as Darell explained, with our, kind of social enterprise setup. We're able to subsidize that, but to really reimagine and refresh Safetyville's infrastructure. It's a 40-year-old little town. It needs some work, and definitely we want to bring new hands-on experiences for the children that we just need that support from donors to help us grow that part of the program.
And so I'll just say what she said, ditto times two. Safetyville really, truly does need the support of the community. It's been around for 40 years. The pandemic really exacerbated the
deferred maintenance,
the deferred maintenance on the buildings. We've had some harsh weather over the last several years where, the old wood has been rotted through on some of the buildings that we've just decided that we're not going to even keep within the flow of what the field trips would normally be able to go over to. We have started to get a renewed interest in Safetyville. And, the misnomer is, oh, well, because you all make money on this side of the business.
They think you cross-pollinate.
Then you guys could just fund everything over there. We're just like every business. We have payroll. We cross our fingers. Like the clients come for safety training. We make sure that, and we have to make sure that the clients continue to come in for our DUI education programs and what have you. So it's not that, even though we do some subsidizing, it's not much to keep the program growing. and it's just keeping it status quo. And this is where we really need the community to come in and say, I'm in with Safetyville for the next 40 years so that many of the generations can continue to enjoy it.
Well, we know the first round got us 40 years, so the next round should easily get us with new technology and materials and everything else that we've got. So I'm pleading with you to the community that there's buildings to be sponsored.
Yep.
And I'm sure you can create a building if somebody says, well, is there a hardware store? Is there an insurance office? Is there a...
Absolutely. We have room to grow. We have some vacant lots that can be custom build sites, and we can work with any company to really meet their goals for their presence in Safetyville. Absolutely.
In terms of reaching out, and I think you did mention it, Kelly, a little bit earlier, is that the best way all the way around is to use the website as the source of orientation for anything? Safetyville, Safety Center.
Absolutely. Yes. Safetycenter.org. All of our programs are represented there on the website. There's a contact us form. Comes directly to my email box. So
perfect.
Easy way to get a hold of us, and we can get you in touch with the right people.
And we'll have that in the show notes as well so that it's easy for somebody to just click through.
Awesome.
And get to you guys. Now, about the transition. Tell us a little bit about that, because it's unique. And like I said, it's the first time I've had two people who are supporting each other in the process of an organization where the executive is moving on. Darrell?
So thank you for asking the question. And, one of the things that I was taught by one of my mentors, Scott Syfax, is that succession planning is intentional and mandatory when you're able to do it. And when I was presented with an opportunity that my family and I just couldn't pass up on, earlier in this calendar year, after contemplating and then ultimately deciding that I'm going to take the leap of faith, and after 5 years transition out of Safety Center, the board went right to work on, what's the best path forward for being able to have an orderly transition. And we wanted to be so thoughtful about it that we brought in a consultant to help us put together the initial strategy to make sure we got all the information that we needed in order to move the process forward, being as educated as possible about what the future of the company would look like, the skill set required, but also what the staff was feeling about the transition at the time as well. Besides just kick Darell out, let's have somebody else come in.
It appears gave an extraordinary amount of time to get it right.
Yes.
Which is also admirable.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And I'll give Dave Lejeune a shout out. Recently retired from Gilbert and Associates, our audit firm. And he just has such a heart for nonprofits, super strategic, and actually has helped many companies through succession planning. So we brought him in, and he was really instrumental in helping us put this pathway together. And then ultimately, as Kelly continued to assume greater and greater responsibility in the organization, it just was all the stars aligned, as they say, in order for us to elevate her to the C-suite in order to ensure that, no matter how long the transition may be, there is that continuity and stability of institutional knowledge, but also the momentum that we have with some of our strategic initiatives will continue to move forward.
And what is the position now that Kelly will be assuming?
She actually assumed it already.
Congratulations.
Tell them your new role.
Yes, I'm the Chief Operations and Strategy Officer. So I, as Darrell said, will continue to work on the strategic initiatives that we've put in place over the last couple of years to make sure there's no slowing down of those initiatives, no loss of momentum during the transition, as well as I just love the nuts and bolts of the day-to-day and making sure everyone has all the tools they need to do their superhero stuff and get the job done.
Well, that intellectual equity that you provide and the continuity that you provide and the foresight that the organization had to say, okay, we have somebody who can bridge this in the interim so we don't have that big gap. And the team, those 180 some employees, all have the confidence they know Kelly and they see you still here, with a very nice handoff as the transition happens. So, congratulations on making that happen in a way that I think is exemplary.
Thank you.
Because many people, move, and it just happens.
Yep, thank you.
And I'm sure Bobby Hales over at Gilbert's going, oh, gosh, I got to replace Dave now, too. Well, Darell, I've been wanting to speak with you for a while.
Likewise.
And it's taken us some time to get together to tell the story of Safety Center and the organization that really, I think in many people's minds is Safetyville.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't realize what's behind it. So I'm glad we finally had the opportunity to get it together, to sit and talk with you, to share some things that are really unique about what you're doing in sort of this split, organization where you've got the organizational side of the for business part of it, which is instrumental in operating a business, whereas you've got the community side with Safetyville, which is a completely different mindset. I mean, most organizations don't have those two pieces where you are trying to blend them both under the same .org.
Yeah.
And, it makes it a little bit more challenging, but it's been working.
It's been working for 90 years.
I would say 40 years on one side, another 50 on the other, and the two came together and we're working at 90. So congratulations on the organization. Congratulations to you on the next move, which I'm sure we'll hear about at some point.
Thank you.
And for leaving the organization in such good shape through your leadership. And Kelly, congratulations to you on the new role.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate it. And congratulations to you on the success of this show.
Thank you.
It is absolutely awesome. You had some phenomenal guests, and we just appreciate being a part of it.
Well, we're happy to do it, and we are really happy to tell the story. So thank you. Thank you for listening to the Nonprofit Podcast Network. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If what you heard moved you, please reach out to that organization and do what you can to help. If you like and appreciate what we're doing to support local nonprofits, please give us a positive review, subscribe, and share. If you're a nonprofit with an interest in participating in an episode, you can reach me at jeff@hearmenowstudio.com. If you have a need for the services or products our sponsors offer, please reach out to them. CapTrust, fiduciary advice for endowments and foundations, Runyon Saltzman Incorporated, RSE, marketing, advertising, and public relations, creating integrated communications committed to improving lives, and Western Health Advantage, a full-service healthcare plan for individuals, employer groups, and families. The Nonprofit Podcast Network is a production of, is recorded at, and edited by Hear Me Now Studio.